For this week's special feature, it's all about the exhaust system of your car. We have Speedlab to walk us through. Let's watch this. There is usually a misconception surrounding a car's exhaust system. According to Mr. Sidney Ang of Speedlab, it's often linked to the header, the muffler, and the resonator, all of which doesn't mean the same thing and are just parts of the entire exhaust system, among others. Here's Mr. Ang to give us an in-depth walkthrough the parts of a car's exhaust system, starting off with the header and the resonator.
This part is called the header. It's called the header because it bolts on to the cylinder head of the engine. Very simple. Then up next, what we have, there's a joint here, all the way up to the back. This whole thing is called a mid-pipe. It's called a mid-pipe because it's in the middle of the car. As you can see, most of the car terms are pretty much self-explanatory. Mid-pipe, middle pipe. This thing here is what confuses a lot of people. Some call it a resonator, others call it a silencer, other people call it a scab. The resonator and silencer, they mean one and the same thing. This thing here, its only job is to make the exhaust quiet.
More about the header. There are different kinds of headers that have existed in the market for so many years. There's a 4-2-1 type, which refers to the exhaust pipe layout consisting of 4 pipes that merge into 2 pipes, which are all connected to one collector pipe.
Let's start first with 4-2-1. Why is it 4 and 2 and 1? People keep throwing these terms around without actually knowing why. This is why. 4, 2, and then 1. 4 becomes 2 and becomes 1. This configuration works because the exhaust is facing you in front of the engine. Almost all cars now, 2000 and up, have the exhaust at the back. You don't see it actually when you open up the engine bay anymore. This is why you can't have a 4-2-1 also on the newer cars. You see these 2 holes? These are oxygen sensor mounts. What that does is, it reads all the exhaust gases from all 4 cylinders and sends it back to the ECU. You need to sample all 4 exhaust gases equally. Unlike this one, with an older OBD1 and more basic EFI management, you just need from 2 cylinders. This one, you need all 4 cylinders. And this wire is not exactly long, it's pretty short. You can't have an exhaust system that long anymore on 2005 and up cars. It just doesn't work because after this one, this is already the exhaust tunnel, that's already the catalytic converter, there is simply no space to put it.
Meanwhile, there's also a 4-1 type that consists of 4 pipes, which connect to a single pipe instead of 2. Let's proceed with the muffler, another part of the exhaust that has a negative connotation to some. Mr. Ang clarifies that the muffler doesn't add noise to the car, instead it reduces sound.
A muffler by definition is a thing that muffles. When you muffle something, you make the sound less. Bigger the muffler, the more the muffling, the quieter the car. Because there are misconceptions out there. Pag naglagay ka ng muffler, iingay yung kotse. Correct. If you put a smaller muffler on your stock car, taking out the big muffler, of course, iingay yung kotse.
Just like the header, the muffler comes in different types. For example, there's chambered mufflers consisting of 3 separate chambers. It refers to the 2 pipes that are divided by the muffler from the resonator to the tail end of the vehicle. According to Speedlab, the whole point of these separations is to create more muffling for the sound.
When you talk of chambered mufflers, this is what it's supposed to mean. We have separate chambers here, as you can see. This is the part where the exhaust gas comes out. It is nowhere physically connected to this pipe. So it goes in here, circles around, goes out here, goes through that little hole at the bottom, then goes out here. So it basically swirls around inside and then goes out.
Meanwhile, if you are after a more performance-based choice, there's a free-flow muffler. Free-flow mufflers basically mean there are no chambers that separate the pipes. However, a free-flow muffler produces more noise than a chambered muffler.
This is a free flow aftermarket muffler that you can buy from your friendly muffler shop. Easiest way to tell a free flow muffler, you can see right through it. There's no restriction whatsoever.
Additionally, Mr. Ang says it still depends on the amount of the material a muffler has for it to serve its purpose.
The amount of muffling depends on how much muffling material your muffler has. So it does not also take a genius to see that this has more muffling material than this, so this will be noisier. They're both free flow because once again, you can see right through it. You can see right through it.
Lastly, there's the resonator or the silencer, also known as the scavenger pipe. Generally, its only job is to make the whole exhaust system quieter. It doesn't affect the car's power whether it's retained or taken off. Diving deeper into how the exhaust system works, Mr. Ang compared a Mitsubishi Montero's upgraded exhaust system to a stock one.
The most obvious difference between the stock and the upgraded one is obviously the size. This thing is 2 inches. Pretty damn small. And by the way, when we do measure inches, you measure the inside diameter, not the outside. It's always inside diameter. The upgraded one is a big 3 inches from the get-go, which has a lot less restriction than obviously a 2-inch pipe. And we go all the way here to the back. As we showed you earlier, the stock muffler is a chamber design with lots of little chambers inside and paikot-ikot. As compared to the Borla muffler that we're using, is a straight-through muffler that goes from here all the way out there. Power-wise, it's around 10 horses for an exhaust upgrade. Pretty much any diesel will get that power just by bolting on an exhaust. All right, we've just finished installing the exhaust and let's hear how it sounds like. Ooh, it's already deeper at idle. Now that sounds really, really good. Sounds a lot more macho than stock, definitely. And with this exhaust upgrade, we actually get another 10 horses from it without doing nothing. Even though this car we've already done an ECU reflash, making the exhaust bigger will increase the power even more just by itself and getting rid of all the restrictions in the stock exhaust like the catalytic converter, the small piping, and the chambered muffler. Now we have a true free flow exhaust, all stainless steel and 3-inch in diameter.
That was an in-depth walkthrough on the parts of a car's exhaust system, courtesy of Mr. Sidney Ang of Speed Lab.